New Orleans Saints win their 7th straight game in a row. They do that over the Atlanta Falcons, and they do it with a new starting quarterback. It was not Jameis Winston. It was not Drew Brees. It was Taysom Hill yesterday, as Hill a little bit of a slow start, but got going and was able to kind of find his groove and move the Saints into a 27-7 winner.
Yeah, Sean Payton is a genius. I mean, his ability to game plan, to put his players in a position to succeed and to win. He is, which is ultimately everything you want to do as a coach, right? He's ultimately at the top of his craft, and I think this is what I missed in terms of the Jameis versus Taysom conversation. As much as we said things and gave lip service to, Sean Payton is the reason why you feel so good about still winning this game despite not having Drew Brees. I didn't make the further logical connection of what can Sean Payton and his creativity do with a full-time Taysom Hill, right? And you saw what they can do, and it was very impressive. And in the end, it has me feeling very foolish that I ever thought that Jameis would start over Hill. Also, I think you're seeing why the Saints paid Taysom Hill so much, right? Like, this is why they invested in him. I think that he's really the dynamic elements that he brings combined with Peyton's creativity is fascinating. And the one question I had coming in, because my whole take was that, like, on the quarterback level of play, I thought they were roughly equivalent, and therefore what added value did Jameis bring to the fore against Taysom, thinking that that's why you would keep Taysom in what he's been doing all year long, because I wasn't sure. Look, I wasn't sure if Taysom could complete the passes. And I don't mean like traditional pocket passes. I mean, like, because I know Sean's not going to approach it that way. I mean, like, with whatever the offense was asking him to do, could he consistently make the throws? And he did it on Sunday, 18-23. Now, granted, those deep balls need some work. He was going with the severe underthrow, throwing the defensive timing off so much. Like, it's by no means perfect, but he was a much more capable thrower than I believed him to be a more accurate thrower. And ultimately, then that's a separating factor. Because if he can do that, if he can fit in the NFL windows, if he can be a consistent 65% completion guy, well, then everything else is just going to fall in line because of his athleticism. Yeah. And you see his value on short yardage situations. It's obvious. And his value in those short yardage situations, Jordy, only continues to grow the more of a throwing threat that he represents. And so Taysom Hill, this was a huge game for the Taysom Hill stock. And you mentioned something interesting, which is he seemed to get in a zone and get better as the game went on, and that is definitely true. And it's a sign of somebody who's used to having to do spot play, which is maybe why our perspectives were a bit warped. It's a sign of a guy who has not full-time started a game in a very long time. And it's also a credit to the Saints defense for allowing, and really that is the story. I know that Taysom Hill, from an intrigue standpoint, is a story, but in terms of why you won, it was the defense. And good on the Saints defense for allowing Taysom Hill the luxury of being able to get into a flow and never feeling like he had to overextend himself. And in the end, that's why you end up winning the game.
Here's Taysom Hill finding out yesterday, or giving the explanation on when he found out that he was going to be the starter.
Look, I had a pretty good idea early in the week, Monday, Tuesday, that I was going to get the start. Wasn't confirmed until later in the week.
So did you have another Hill bite that you wanted to play before? Because I want to start talking about this defense.
Well, this is Sean Payton talking about Hill's preparation going into the starter.
Yeah, it's the process we go through every week. It's obviously a different type of plan. Our players were good all week, rock solid. Jameis, I mean, all of us. Look, this happens a lot to other positions, and I understand when it happens to the quarterback, there's more attention drawn to it. But these guys handled it well. We've been playing well, and good to get another win.
Credit to Jameis Winston as well. Not an inkling of like a bad attitude or anything on the sideline. Looks like a great teammate, which is honestly everything that you've kind of heard about Winston throughout his career. So Taysom Hill was really good.
One more from Payton talking about Hill and how much the offense has changed when he's under center.
The offense changed some. We carried a lot of the same protections. Certainly we featured some heavy play actions. We felt like it was going to be a lot of down safety defense. I thought we threw the ball down the field well. And, I was proud of the execution. Again, I thought we blocked them up front real well.
Yeah, the Saints are dominating in the trenches right now, and that's the root of all success on the defense as well. Danny, am I wrong here? Did you hear this? Can you look it up? If not, is Drew Brees' broken rib count up to 11?
Is that legit?
So the second opinion they got, which confirmed the 5, ended up being wrong, and he now has 11 broken ribs.
Is he going for a third?
I don't know. Ed Werder reported that on Saturday night. That
So
he
my
has
man
11 ribs.
has 11 broken ribs.
So he's done for the season.
No. They'll heal. No, it's 3 weeks.
Yeah.
No, it's still 3 weeks. That hasn't changed. It's just funny to me that he had 11 broken ribs and a punctured lung, and he was like, my back's tight. I can't go. Like, what a tough SOB, dude.
And he still had his helmet on in the third quarter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Stand on top. Yeah, standing the entire time.
Like,
What a beast. Okay, sorry. That was neither here nor there. We mentioned that it all starts defensively up front for the Saints right now. And, I mean, the pass rush right now is truly elite. And I'm not saying, look, correlation does not equal causation, right? But this rise in defensive success does nicely time with Marcus Davenport's return to the lineup, and then with him playing better and better week in and week out. Now, don't misconstrue me here, Jordy. I'm not saying that Marcus Davenport is the sole reason for this. When I look at this Saints pass rush, I see a group where the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Like Trey Hendrickson, Cam Jordan, David Onyemata, Marcus Davenport, Tuttle, Roach. These guys, especially the early ones I named, these guys are good pass rushers in their own right. But when you combine them and they all get to attack an offensive line at once, well, then that just becomes overwhelming.
Is it
and
time?
then who do you focus on? Who do you try and block? And so right now, this Saints defensive line is setting the tone. They are dominating, and there's so much overwhelming talent both on the interior and exterior that Marcus Davenport, in my mind, was the final piece to the puzzle to pushing this thing to the next level and realizing, oh, you're not just good in that regard, you are great in that regard.
It's been fun, especially for radio on the New Orleans Saints, to talk about who's next at the negotiating table, right? Who's going to be the next one to get the big contract? As Kamara was the last one up, Mike Thomas was there. It seems like you're going to have Ryan Ramczyk coming up. You're going to have Marcus Lattimore coming up. Where's Trey Hendrickson?
Yeah, I don't even know. I've never thought about a Trey Hendrickson contract until this moment right now.
You better start thinking about it, though.
He
had 2 sacks again yesterday.
I know.
Here's Cam Jordan.
Is he up to double digits now?
Here's Cam Jordan talking about Hendrickson.
It's been huge. I mean, look, his whole 4 years here, he's been like, I'm an edge guy. Look, it's all about when you get your opportunity, you shine. And once he got his opportunity, he's been shining and hasn't looked back since. I've been telling you guys for the last couple of years, this kid is real on the edge. And if I'm catching doubles, you got to win your singles. And if you jump double Trey, that means I'm winning my singles. And if you try and double me and Trey, somebody coming down there, you got, I'm not going to say 1.5 sacks here, but another man, David Onyemata in the middle as well. Again, monster in the middle.
Yeah, Onyemata, the Manitoba Mauler. And so Cam
I got
Jordan
9.5 sacks on Hendrickson. Is that right?
That makes sense. That sounds right.
9.5 in 10 games.
And so the Hendrickson contracts conversation is a bit interesting because you do get into, like, is some of his success because of how good you are overall? But let's just look at how good this group is overall, because Onyemata in the middle is a massive piece, because if you get the push up the middle, it allows the edge guys to get home. But then how about Demario Davis? I don't know if there's a better pass rushing middle linebacker in the NFL. When you try to block him with a running back, he eats them alive, and his motor is apparent. But one thing that also stood out this game, for as much love as I'm giving to the defensive line, and they deserve it, they won their battles, Matt Ryan had to hold on to the ball way longer than Matt Ryan normally holds on to the ball, and that goes to the pass coverage. And so on a day when you didn't have Marshawn Lattimore, the Saints' pass coverage was elite with P-Rob and Janoris Jenkins and everybody else, because coming into this game, Matt Ryan was actually one of the best quarterbacks in the league at getting rid of the ball in under 2.5 seconds. And if you get rid of it in 2.5, the sacks are not getting home 99% of the time. But the secondary did a really good job of coverage, making Ryan hold the ball. And then if you even have to hold it for a tick too long against his Saints passers, they're getting home. How about these numbers? From Mike Detillier on Twitter. Last 3 games have allowed 3 points to the Bucs, 13 points to the Niners, 9 points to the Falcons. So that means in 3 weeks you've given up just 1 touchdown and 25 points in 3 weeks worth of NFL games.
Damn.
How about this from D. Scott Alexander on Twitter, our guy?
Scotty.
8 points. So this is the last 3 games. 8.3 points per game. Only 238 yards allowed per game. 238. You force 9 turnovers. You have 13 sacks in those 3 games and 21 tackles for loss.
The last time an NFL defensive unit has held a rushing attack in this league, 53 games without a 100-yard rusher, is Reggie White, Jerome Brown, Seth Joyner in that 1991 Philadelphia Eagle crew. It has been almost 30 years since something like this has been accomplished.
And really, it speaks to something that I want to highlight today, which is everybody needs to take a real second here and truly appreciate the job that the New Orleans Saints front office has done in building this team.
Or rebuilding.
You are,
right?
Yes, building there was a very objective argument made that the Saints had the worst front office in the entirety of the NFL. Ironically, a lot of them may go back to Ryan Pace, who we all celebrated, but now you look at what he's gone on to do in Chicago, and Ryan Pace may not be actually that good at all. Potentially, but ever since that moment, and some other, Jeff Island, some other moves that were made, I mean, the front office, first off, as far as starters go, if you're fully healthy, there are no weaknesses. Maybe even the weakest position you upgraded with Quan Alexander. But how do you swallow the loss of a Drew Brees this easily? How do you swallow the loss of a Marshawn Lattimore like it's nothing and still go out and give up 9 points? How do you swallow the loss of Andrews? Like, you go down the line, a guy gets out, it doesn't matter. The game planning, the depth that you've built, this is the most complete Saint roster that I think I've seen since I've been doing this job. No, I didn't do this job in 2009. I didn't do this job in 2011, right? So I wasn't locked in on those teams like I have been 2013 on. But it's just truly fantastic. And so on this week of Thanksgiving, we're supposed to have some perspective, be thankful for things, be thankful to Mickey Loomis, this front office, and the roster that they have now given the mastermind, Sean Payton, to work with, and look at the results. I mean, the results speak for themselves. You're now 8-2, looking like the best team in the SEC. God, I love Demario Davis.
Just got a text. First and foremost, it's great to get a text from this guy, Victor Howell, who was battling a heavyweight bout with COVID-19 as some of the videos he was putting out on social media. But you know him from his work in media, and he was the face of the New Orleans Saints pre- and post-game show on CST Sports. He sat alongside Scott Shanley and Deuce McAllister. He just texted in, Hendrickson has 9.5 sacks on the year. That puts him tied for the first in the entire NFL. My teammates on Saints Tonight, Deuce McAllister and Scott Shanley, both say that he is going to get paid.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean, he will. He will. It's just a question of the Saints, where do they value him on the – because the front office has done such a good job, you have a lot of people that you have to end up paying. We'll see. God, the no gloves thing's crazy. How about this? Ivy Hebert in the 1/5 YouTube chat. Clowney who? Wow. I mean, they bullet dodged. Think about it. We wanted so badly to invest resources in Jadeveon Clowney. Who was the other one? I know. I think I stood for Everson Griffin as well in this offseason.
He was released by the Cowboys, wasn't he?
Yeah, they did not. Not only did the Saints obviously not need it, but neither of those guys has gone on to be productive in the slightest. So bullet dodged by the New Orleans Saints. And they had every piece that they needed in-house. They just needed a healthy Marcus Davenport, in my mind, to push it over the top. And now it's over the top. And remember, going into this game, y'all, remember we learned Friday, they were the 4th best scoring defense in the league. And they give them a 9 spot. That number's going to increase dramatically. I mean, I'm so excited about this New Orleans Saints team.
Great to hear from you, Victor Howell. Happy Thanksgiving. We roll on off the bench next.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, go ahead and like and subscribe below. You want more great Saints content? We got it all here on Off the Bench Overtime. Check out these other videos, share with your friends, and let's grow the Who Dat Nation together. Who Dat?